Hey, it's Paul from One Cast One Fish, and today I'm bringing you a cheap and easy DIY fishing rod storage idea. If you're like me, you have way more rods than you do storage space, and I just picked up 8 new Striper Stealth rods from Catch the Fever, so I'm in need of a little bit of extra storage space for all these rods. And that's why we're going to be building a really simple, really cheap rod storage rack that mounts to the ceiling. This is going to keep all those rods super easy to access and up out of the way. Now, as far as materials, it's pretty simple. We're going to need a couple 2x4s. We're also going to need enough of these screw-in hooks for all of our rods. Now, when you're looking for your hooks, be sure to get the ones that have the coating on them because it's going to protect your rods. You're also going to need a few basic hand tools. The first thing I'm going to do is measure the ceiling to see how much room I have to work with. So it looks like I've got about 6 feet of area I'm going to work with up on the ceiling for hanging all these rods. So I'm going to cut 2 feet off these 2x4s real quick, and then we're going to lay them out and mark where all these hooks are going to go. They're going to eventually hang all of our rods from. Now, to get our distance between our hooks for this rod rack, I've lined up a few rods here on the floor, and as you can see, I staggered them so they can be a little bit closer together, which means I'll be able to fit a few extra rods on this rod rack. And once I get them set up the way I'd like, I'm going to measure the distance in between them, which ended up being 6 inches, so all my rod hooks are going to be 6 inches apart. So now we're going to mark our board every 6 inches. And once I get the marks on the first board, I'm just going to transfer them on down the line to our second board. And that's where we're going to place our hooks. Now, since these hooks are pretty large and they'd be an absolute pain to try to screw in by themselves, we're actually going to pre-drill pilot holes to make screwing in all these hooks a whole lot simpler. Once the last hook's in place, we're going to get them mounted up to the ceiling. Now, mounting this rod rack is going to be super easy. We're going to use 3-inch screws. Now it's kind of like the hard part where you got to hold this thing up in place while screwing it to the ceiling. Well, after all that hard work, we're going to get these rods and we're going to put them up in this rod rack and see how they look. And there you have it, super simple DIY garage ceiling rod rack storage idea. I hope you've enjoyed this idea for awesome additional storage for all your fishing rods. Now be sure to comment down below, like and share with all of your friends, and we'll see you next time on the water.